What is up, YouTube family? Thank you guys for tuning back into Wilburn Shenanigans. My name is Chad. This is my wife D, and we are back with another great reaction video. You guys are sending this on the story time. You sent this on the Pimps and Prostitute story yesterday, which will go up one of these days. I don't know when it's going up because of my schedule. I don't know. It's all over the place. It's going up. But today we're going into the girl who was assassinated on TikTok during TikTok. So yeah, I've never heard of this story. It's a story that's out there. So
recently? Oh, my bad.
Devastating cases we cover on this channel are always unresolved, and it's only made worse when there's seemingly a lot of evidence to close the case and give the families the closure they need. Kalicia Williams died moments after filming a TikTok, and the identity of her killer seems obvious. So why does something about this case feel so off? Why does it feel like someone isn't telling the truth?
I got my attention with this type.
This is the case of the TikToker who was murdered right after her final video. Kalicia Williams was born on July 22nd, 2004 and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. She was super close to her family and had a lot of close friends who nicknamed her Pinky. Now, the pandemic and quarantine were super hard for a lot of teens, including Kalicia. Her stepdad said that unlike a lot of other teens, she didn't mind being stuck at home that much, saying that she was happy as long as she had Wi-Fi and Netflix. Her parents were kind of worried about her being cooped up in the house for so long, so when they heard about a chaperoned party coming up for some of the teens in the area, they encouraged her to go. Kalicia's stepdad, Ronnie, brought up the idea and said that it would be a great chance for Kalicia to socialize with other kids her age in a safe environment. Her mom, April, agreed and called the chaperone for the party to get the details. They told April that everything would be totally safe and monitored. The party was going to happen at an Airbnb where they had permission to have guests and throw the party.
You know what's crazy? It's so crazy because we've heard so many, not even just like this story, it's like Bakersfield, we've had like, I think in the last like year or so, we had like 2 of these where parents like said, oh, it's safe, you know, the kids come to party. One was shot up, and then one was where the parents bought the alcohol, and you're talking like 15-year-olds in his house, drunk as heck, fights broke out, this and that, and the parents were all charged with giving minors alcohol, and then the stuff that went down. I think somebody was stabbed, you know, and it's like, at this point, like I feel like if you're as a parent, if you never met them other parents and know how they is, I don't care if you saying they chaperone or not. I don't know you. I don't know what your chaperoning is. Your chaperoning could be, all right, everybody in the house, I'm closing my door, I'm going to my room.
Since mostly everyone going was Kalicia's age, her parents literally had no reason not to believe that their daughter would head to the party, have a good time, and then come home safe and sound. That isn't what happened. The party was to take place on December 26th, 2020, the day after Christmas. The holiday spirit had everyone in a great mood, so Kalicia was just excited to get out and have some fun with her friends. She got all dressed up and was picked up by the chaperone, unaware that when she went out the door that day, it was the last time she'd see her home and her family. From the get-go, the whole situation was kind of off. It turned out there was no Airbnb, and the party was gathering at the Hyatt Regency Atlanta Hotel in Atlanta. Pretty weird thing to lie about, right? There's a lot of rumors as to why this was the case, ranging from the chaperone wanting to make sure that Kalicia's family couldn't find her, to a simple booking error that lost them the Airbnb. The chaperone had sponsored a stay for children at the hotel, which is basically when an adult pays for a room for a minor to stay in by themselves. This is also pretty weird since that's the kind of thing reserved for homeless teens or minors traveling alone. If a chaperone was supposed to be there the whole time, why not just book a room normally? Anyways, the point is that things were already off to a bad start, and the night would only get worse. There wasn't a lot of info about what happened at the party, how many people were there, or even if the chaperone was there the whole time. There was one important detail though that happened at around midnight. Kalicia loved TikTok and dancing, so she opened up her phone and decided to make a couple of videos while she was at the party. There are still 2 available to see on her account, but the one we're about to talk about got deleted a while ago. You guys saw that at the end, right? It looks like while she was dancing, something started Kalicia enough that she decided to turn the camera off. In a normal situation, I'd assume that she just got shy or embarrassed that someone saw her making a TikTok and was trying to look like she wasn't doing anything. Except just a few minutes after the video was posted, gunshots could be heard coming from Kalicia's room. Kinatuka Starkey, a woman staying in the hotel, heard the whole thing. They were shouting, "What hotel are we at? What hotel?" She was panicking. Minutes later, Kinatuka went out to the lobby and saw two guys bringing an unconscious Khaleesi out of the elevator, and they told Kinatuka she'd been severely injured by a bullet. While they ran to get help, she stayed with Khaleesi and held her hand as they waited for the paramedics to arrive. Allegedly, Kinatuka took a video of the EMTs trying to resuscitate Khaleesi because she figured it would help with the case. But if anything, it just added to the questions. According to Ronnie, the video makes no sense because there's barely any blood around Khaleesi in the lobby. I haven't personally seen the video, so I don't really know what to do with that information except to hope that there's some kind of explanation. Sadly, by the time the ambulance arrived, it was too late for Khaleesi. They tried their best to resuscitate her, but she passed away at the hospital. This is the part that literally makes me so mad. No one thought to call Khaleesi's parents to tell them what happened for 8 hours after the incident. All that time, they believed their daughter was safely having fun with her friends at a party, not bleeding out in some hotel room. Of course, they were horrified and heartbroken when they eventually got the news and angry. They couldn't understand how this happened. What was their daughter doing at a hotel? Why were there people there with firearms? Why would someone do this?
What's with these hotels? Remember that Kanika Jenkins story too?
No, that wasn't. Oh yeah, that was a hotel.
What is with these hotels? Like I don't get it. All these cameras they got in them hotels, like they don't be having nothing. And then when it's
because he just said that that there's adults that buy it for the minors, like, oh, we're staying here, stuff. So those adults that are purchasing it, it's like they're not gonna think twice about it.
But I'm saying like the hotel.
Card on file.
I'm saying the people who walked in and shot her. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like,
like the security.
They be having all these damn cameras in there, and every time something go down in the hotel, all of a sudden they ain't even catch nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
Those are all questions Khaleesi's family still doesn't have the answers to. And that isn't all of them either. The way people have acted in this case has made everyone super suspicious of what happened in the hotel room. For one, why didn't anyone call Khaleesi's parents? People at the party knew what had happened, the police knew, and the hotel had to have known. Did no one take a second and think, hey, maybe we should tell Khaleesi's parents their daughter has literally died? There are a few conflicting reports, but from what I can tell, her parents eventually got the news from the chaperone, who is the mother of one of the boys at the party. Khaleesi's parents never had a reason to suspect something awful would happen to their daughter in her care, as she'd chaperoned house parties before that Khaleesi had attended, and there'd never been an issue. Now, let's talk about the party itself. I've looked at the videos Khaleesi took that night, and what kind of party was this? In all the videos, she's dancing by herself, and in the only one where she isn't alone, there's only one other person there. Where the heck was everyone else? The next thing I have to wonder is about what happened at the end of the last video that scared Khaleesi so much. Now knowing what happened to her, like 20 minutes later, all I can think is that someone came into the room that she didn't expect or want to see. What do you guys think? If she got into a verbal altercation pretty much straight after, it would make sense, right? I don't know, you guys. All I know is that looking at this clip is really tough, knowing that this was the last time she was seen alive.
Yes.
So naturally, after the news broke about Khaleesi's murder, things went nuts. Social media was flooded with tributes to the teen, and as details of the night started to spread, more and more people wanted to know what happened that night. What we do know is that more than likely, Khaleesi's killer has been caught. A boy the same age as her was arrested at the scene and charged with her murder. Reports say the two were acquaintances, so they didn't know each other super well. Now, I don't know if this is related to Khaleesi or if he did something to somebody else that night, but one of his charges implies that he may have violated someone. And get this, because the alleged killer is under 18, his name can't be released to the media until he goes to trial. Does that feel weird to you guys too, or is it just me? Like, this is literally kids hurting teens. It's heartbreaking. Despite the fact that a suspect was arrested at the scene, Khaleesi's family is unhappy with the investigation for several reasons. They're especially mad that the chaperone hasn't been charged with anything when she was the one that allowed the situation to take place.
She was supposed to be chaperoning the whole thing. The hotel room for these minors. The hotel room was in her name, so I feel like she should be held accountable for my daughter's death as well.
So far at the time of recording, that hasn't happened yet. I agree with Khaleesi's mom. Not only did this person straight up lie about where they were taking Khaleesi, but they totally failed to protect her and let a guy with a weapon into the party.
I don't think they let
A few days after the shooting, protesters gathered outside the hotel to campaign for justice and for the hotel to be held accountable too. In all the reports I read, you guys, there's literally no mention of any of the hotel staff doing anything. Like, was anybody even there? The area vice president of the hotel released a statement to the media calling Calicia's passing an isolated incident, and so obviously trying to wash any responsibility off of the hotel's hands. The hotel fully cooperated with local authorities related to the incident. Out of respect for the privacy of those involved, we cannot share more specific details on the isolated incident. So, what happens now? Well, from what I can tell, the guy who was arrested is still sitting in jail, waiting for his day in court. Now, I know the pandemic has slowed down a lot of court cases, but I can't help but feel like this is pretty open and closed on the legal front. I mean, he was the only person in the room with her, and clearly they had enough evidence to charge him, so why hasn't anything else happened since January? Honestly, I feel horrible for Calicia and her family. She was so young and had so much life ahead of her. To have it taken away so suddenly is truly tragic. But what's crazy to think about is how if it weren't for that last TikTok video, would this case even have been so popular in the news? No. You guys know as well as I do that oftentimes when it comes to POC victims, the media never wants to promote their cases unless it's to do with the police. It's sad and scary to think that if it wasn't for her TikTok, there's a chance Calicia's murder could have been handled even worse by investigators, since they wouldn't have the scrutiny of the public eye. We'll see if any of that pays off when her alleged killer eventually goes to court. Well, what do you guys think?
Okay,
do you think
I'm curious to see, what about the two boys that carried her out? What did they see?
That's what I'm saying. It's like nobody's saying.
And then, like, I'm not trying to be like rude or nothing, but what does the hotel have to do with anything? Like, they were just doing their job. At the end of the day, like, the hotel can't. No,
they're saying like footage wise, they always trying to cover something. Like they always. When they like sometimes you get investigated, they be like, we need to see the footage. Oh well, we can't. Yeah. We got to go in there first.
I think the mom needs to get in trouble because one, you left minors alone, and I feel like you said your son was in the party. Where was your son when all this took place?
To me, it sounds like I'm thinking a media setup because.
Oh yeah, it does definitely sound set up.
First of all, they sent a chaperone, right? Or this person that come pick her up, right? This is the person like you telling these parents like that your daughter's safe. This person comes and picks her up, drops her off, and then immediately leaves, like they said.
The chaperone.
So that right there, in my head, red flag. Like you immediately left.
And then you got to think it was her. She was the only girl, is what it seems like, because it was a shooter, and the two boys. It was
one more girl, I think it was one more girl that sent the camera.
But I'm saying, so there's 3 boys, 2 girls. What kind of party is that? Look how she's dressed at the party.
Unless they were trying to traffic. Unless they're trying to pull and it went wrong.
Unless it wasn't really the chaperone and it's really just a friend that's older.
But if it's being trafficking and it went wrong, then he shot her. Panic. Like he couldn't get her to.
Because she was very startled in that video. It's things like this that make me like. So
it's
sad.
crazy. That's why, and it's always these hotels that never like you would think like. My thing is like somebody said. Somebody said this the other day. Why is it that surveillance footage? Right? You ever seen like surveillance footage? You can't make out the person. Like it be like blurry. We got all this damn technology, but when it comes to surveillance, you can't never know who the person is. Like they have released a pixelated picture. If you see this person, be aware. Everybody look like him because y'all can't even give me a clear picture. Like, and
I don't know. It's just so sad. Like this just reminded me of the Kanika Jenkins
that one. Was crazy.
Like that one was so sad. And then for this one, like I think the video of her TikTok, I feel like that right there just shows you something was off.
I think too, like it made me think of shows we watch. I know I'm trying to lean on these TV shows, but it's the truth. I think you get a group with like teenagers around and like something like this happen. They panic, right? Then they get on one board like, we got to shut up. Like, don't nobody see nothing. Like, you get those people that silence their mouths and now you sitting here like, what happened? And they know, but they didn't make this pact like, hey, we can't say nothing or we all go to jail.
Exactly.
And it's like now that one boy went.
That one boy.
But the rest is like, all right, zip.
Have you guys heard of this one? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, what's the deeper, like, I know some of y'all.
I feel like so there's some of you guys out there that you guys know more than this video is telling.
I need a paragraph.
So let us know in the comments because we are the type of people that are interested in stuff like this.
Sadly, like, not in the case that somebody need to die, but, you know,
it's sad.
It's crazy, though, when we see stories like this. Like, it mind blowing. I'm not a cop. I don't know how it works, but at the end of the day, I feel like cases like this, like she said, what if that video didn't come out? They probably just swept it underneath the rug. Like, you probably wouldn't have known about it. Like, that TikTok with somebody being startled, you probably would have never known. They would just say murder teen in a thing. And it would have blew over our heads and been on about it.
Unless there's footage, they don't care for it.
Only footage you'll know when that trial starts. If they got anything that evidence they'll present.
No, I'm saying like the Kanika Jenkins, she got big because of the footage. Yeah. She got big because of her video. Like,
if you don't have no footage, you don't have nothing.
Yeah, so it's sad, but
This was crazy though. Yeah, let us know. We are curious about.
But see, my thing personally, not to cut you off, but I think the parents fucked up when they let the chaperone pick her up. I feel like I would have had to take my child.
I mean, I wouldn't have took him, but I'm just saying I can see as a parent, I'm not gonna point the finger at them because I can see how they feel safe. Like you got a chaperone.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's like my thing is like. But she did say this chaperone was known to chaperone.
Yeah,
other
that's
parties.
what I'm saying. That's why they probably felt safe. Like, okay, I'm letting my kid go.
Yeah.
But I think as a child, like I think too, like a child should be. But these kids, I don't know. I think a child should be taught to like, hey, like when she knew she was in Atlanta at that Hyatt, she should have known like, hey,
yeah,
mom,
text mom.
I would have been like, mom, they didn't take me to. Where
they brought me here.
I'm at some hotel in Atlanta.
Exactly. Unless she knew and was talking to the boys or the other girl, and they were trying to be sneaky.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it's like,
I'm like, hey, mom, they took me to some whole different like.
It just sucks because we don't know if she was in on it and she knew it was not.
So there have been times, I'm not saying I was a perfect teenager, I wasn't, but there has been times where I went somewhere and like I was with my buddies and we like, bro, let's go. Like this ain't it, you know, and we just feel uncomfortable. Like let's get up out of here. And I feel like when your instincts kick in like that, it's immediately just say, let's go. When you got that feeling, matter if nothing happened or not, it's like when you got that eerie feeling like, hey, this don't feel right.
Listen to your gut.
Let's get up out of here. And we did that plenty of times. And I felt like maybe like you said, maybe she was sneaking out and maybe she was trying to get away with it. And maybe that dude showed up and somebody told her like she was. They said she's videoing that. They said she's videoing that night, so she could have been. They could have been seeing videos go up like, oh, she at the blah blah. Like let's pull up. Like you know, you don't know.
Yeah, it's so many.
And then the boy could have showed up at the front desk and said, hey, I'm here for the party. Boom. Now he upstairs. So you really can blame the hotel too, because like y'all just letting people in rooms without. That's confidential information. You can't come in there saying like. I'm here for something and let him up. No, you need to be phoning somebody like, hey, this dude, is he on the list? Whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just a lot of flags.
I didn't even know you could have hotel room parties.
I don't think you can. I think it's just, I don't know. But let us know. We curious.